Hello students, welcome to this class. In the last class we have defined what is center of mass of a rigid body or a system of particles. We have seen two types of definitions. One is in terms of the position vector and the other is in terms of coordinates. Now let us see what is the significance of this center of mass. I already told you that it is the effective center of a system of particles, but let us see what is meant by this effective center of system of particles. For that we consider a system of n particles, and suppose Fi is the force acting on the ith particle having mass mi, then its Newton's equation F is equal to ma can be written in this manner. Force on ith particle is mass into its acceleration ai, and ai may be written as a second derivative of position vector. Now this force acting on ith particle can be split into two. It is external force acting on the ith particle and force acting on the ith particle by the jth particle. And there are so many other particles in the system, so we have to sum over j to get the force due to all other particles. Here Fi external is the external force acting on the ith particle, and Fji is the force on ith particle by the jth particle. Suppose we substitute this force in the Newton's equation, and let us take a sum over I of that equation. Then we will get this equation: sigma I Fi external, sigma I sigma j Fji, which is equal to sigma I mi d square Ri by dt square. And since these mi's are constants, we can take this d square by dt square outside the sigma symbol here and write in this manner. And if we multiply and divide by the total mass of the system m, then we get this equation. And you can see that this part is nothing but the position vector of the center of mass. That can be obtained from the definition of the center of mass, this one. In this equation, this double summation term sigma I sigma j Fji will be 0 because I and j are summed over all their values, and we know that according to Newton's third law, Fji is equal to minus Fij. For example, if we take F12, then there will be another term F21 that will be minus of the first one. So those terms pairwise will cancel. So if we take a sum over all I and j, then all terms will pairwise cancel, and this will be equal to 0. So the remaining equation becomes sigma I Fi external is equal to total mass into d square RCM by dt square, and d square RCM by dt square is the acceleration of the center of mass, and the left hand side is the total external force acting on all the particles, which may be written as F total external, and that is equal to total mass into acceleration of the center of mass. So this is just like a Newton's second law equation, F is equal to ma, where F is the total external force acting on all the particles, and m is the total mass of the system of particles, and acm is the acceleration of the center of mass. So we may say that the center of mass behaves as it is a point particle having mass equal to total mass of the system of particles and acted upon by a force which is the total external force acting on all the particles. So here the advantage is that we can determine the trajectory of center of mass using the above equation, and that is the significance of the center of mass. We are able to trace the path of the center of mass using this equation.